Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Tube. And it's time to fly with episode 3 of Ahsoka. Full spoilers ahead. I'm here with Gary, also known as Boss Man. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. And I'm also with Cheeto. How you doing?
I'm here.
Wonderful. And we've got one more person joining us too. We have Dixie from the Galactic Empire. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
No, fine, thank you. You definitely look like you're in the dark side of the force right now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, don't worry. You can stay like that, mate. It's all good.
Thank you.
So
Always my thing to
we
do.
had our third episode of Ahsoka, and I have to say that I liked it, even though this was a shorter episode overall, with 37 minutes. When I saw that, I was pissed. It was 20 minutes shorter than the pilot episode, but regardless. What mattered the most was the pacing of this episode and what we got from it. And we got some really good thrills and spills, some character development as well, and some endearment too, because our main characters, I like them. I like them a lot. I like Ahsoka. I like the robot dude. I like Sabine. I like the toilet girl whose name escapes me. Sorry, I apologize for that.
Hera.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I will get better with these names so far. I'm liking it all. This is a much better episode than the previous two, in my opinion. What do you think, guys?
I thought it was a lot better than the last two. I thought this was a lot more focused. I think it's because maybe the shorter runtime kind of helped it, but I really like this. I thought the ship fighting was really good. I really like that. I love the villains. The villains here seem a bit omnipresent, though. I am going to agree with Cheeto. I know he's not spoken yet, but he's probably going to agree with me, hopefully, that I wanted to see at least a hint of Thrawn. And I mean, I was hoping that we were going to get rid of this, and the fact we didn't, I'm like, come on, we should have seen him by now. But I'm going to give them until the next episode. If they don't see they're dead, then I'm going to start losing my rank because they built him up enough to show him now.
Someone like Thrawn is not going to come in mid-episode, in my opinion. I feel someone like him would be the teaser for the end of an episode. To
teasing season 2.
No. They'll show him in this season because we've seen him so far in some trailer shots. But what I'm trying to say is that they're more from our vast experience of watching television shows of various kinds. We can tell what they like to do is that in order for you to get to watch the next episode, they'll use them as a hook at the end of the previous episode, which will be the next episode we watch, in my opinion. And that's not good, in my opinion, as well, because we want to see as much Thrawn as possible. But I will say this, that even though a lot of us are looking forward to seeing him, I never really felt like I was missing him watching this episode personally. Cheetah, what do you think? Sorry, guys. Sorry, you got any more to say?
I didn't personally. I just wanted him to see him just so that it's something to anticipate because they've done such a good job of building up all the other bad guys that it would just be like the final. He's here and he's waiting for whoever. But go on.
Yeah, Cheetah.
I mean, this episode was here. It like all they did in this episode was they flew to a planet, they scanned a orbital hyperdrive ring, and then they landed. Like that there was dogfights in there, okay, and that's fine, but like they really did nothing except for scan that thing in this episode. Like really, like what they were already at the beginning of the episode, they were already on their way to the planet. It took them the entire episode to land on the planet. A little bit of dogfighting, fine, but still, like what did we do this episode? That's it. Like there's nothing more. You had a little bit of Jedi training in there, and it's like
training and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know what? That took way too long as it was.
But 37 minutes, 35 minutes, really. If you take out the credits, it's not. It was enough for.
Exactly. If you wanted that bullshit in here, maybe give us a longer runtime for the episode. Give us something substantial. This episode was pretty much, in my opinion, to me, it was just about a waste. It got them to the planet. Like, that was it.
Well, they were investigating where that hyperdrive went in. They obviously went to that location to.
Yeah, because it took them 12 years to scan the hyperdrive ring. I'm still scanning. Almost there. Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah, I know. Like, well,
No, I'm sorry.
Detention.
Like this, yeah, and I mean, like, we haven't even seen a hint of Thrawn, and I didn't think I'd see Thrawn this episode, but it's like, they should have at least started the process of getting Thrawn back by this point, so we could come in either at the end of episode 4 or at the beginning of episode 4. If Thrawn, look, next week is mid-season. Like, if Thrawn's not back by mid-season, it's a
no. I agree. I agree. I personally would have wanted them seen it from the very beginning, so we can jump between the two and maybe the rebuilding of a new galactic empire. But okay, fair enough. Dixie, what do you think?
I thought for a shorter episode it was all right. I mean, it's not like they're running out of ideas. I still protest and want my Shadows of the Empire movie because, I don't care about Ahsoka. She was pretty much a cartoon character in, what was it, the new, what was that, Jedi cartoon?
Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars. And I kind of don't care about that, but
What about Rebels? You never got into that?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Shit.
See, that's
sorry, I got killed by a bear.
Okay. You playing Baldur's Gate? Is that what you're doing?
No, I was playing Rust, but I'm shutting it down now.
All right, fair enough.
Boss Man, were you a Rebels like person? Did you watch Rebels and Clone Wars and everything like that? Or
I've seen the film of Clone Wars. I've not seen the actual series. No, I've seen so I've never seen what's the word Rebels. So
the problem with this is that not all of us are not like big Rebels and Clone Wars fans. So I feel like although we're giving our honest opinions on what it is, I feel like unfortunately this is a kind of a Filoni deep cut where it's like if you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, you're kind of lost. And I mean, I'm not lost as to the plot, like getting Thrawn back. I know who Thrawn is. I know who Ahsoka is. I don't know much about Sabine and Hera and these other Ezra. Like I know their names. I don't know that much about them. So it's like that's my problem with this show. Is just like it is Rebels season 5, and that's fine, but at least advertise it as such.
Yeah, I actually agree because I mean you can do characters that have already been pre-established, but kind of make it that people who haven't watched those series before know who those characters are. If that makes sense, like. I'm trying to think of a series that does it really well. I'm trying to think of one. Like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, for example. You don't have to have read The Hobbit to understand the characters and where they're from and those characters. With this, I think you kind of do. And it's kind of like, I think it's because of the bad writing, in my opinion. Because I kind of know who Ahsoka is. Like, I know that she was Anakin's Padawan, and she got betrayed when he went to the dark side, all this shit. But I only know that because I'm a Star Wars fan. I wouldn't know that if the series was on. I mean, I have no clue who Sabine Wray is. I have no clue who Thrawn. I mean, I know who Thrawn is from reading the books, but I have no clue who he is from this, and I don't have a clue who the two greats are. I'm a little bit lost, to be honest with you guys, and I think it's because of bad storytelling in this, in my personal opinion. That's going to be a lot lacking.
I don't.
But
I don't
I like this for what it was.
I don't think it's the bad storytelling. I get the story. Like, I know the story. The story is we're trying to find this guy. We're also trying to find this other guy through this other guy. But we're on this quest to also become a Jedi. Like the story is not hard to figure out. But that's one of the problems is that we're spending more time figuring out the characters rather than following the story. Now the story is just pretty basic, so it's easy to follow. But yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't care. Like I don't care about. I don't care about the characters that are in here because I don't have an invested interest in them. And if people who watched and loved Rebels want this, absolutely fine. Like, I'm glad you love this series. It's just not my thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you're stupid for liking it. I'm just saying not my cup of tea.
All right, let's get to some comments, all right?
Yep.
Starting off with Daniel, I sense a disturbance in the Force as if a bunch of nerds were about to theorize. You're damn right. Jedi Wing Patrol. And he also tells Ahsoka floating in space. Even Leia was able to use the Force to fly in space. No, see, actually, this is where I prefer it because I'd rather have that than fucking Mary Poppins without a spacesuit flying around and shit. No, yeah, honestly, I'll never understand people's appreciation for the Last Jedi, and it upsets me that when watching the Last Jedi is hated by a lot of fucking radicals and neckbeards and dickheads and incels, and it pisses me off that I'm with them when it comes to hating this film, but I don't hate it for the reasons they hate it. I have slightly differing opinions. Anyway, regardless, Ginger Greek says, Dixie, turn up your mic.
I turned it up. Is that better?
Yeah, turn it up. All right, fine. And finally, before we start talking more about this episode, you're coming into the middle of it. This is, I think, a question. This is directed at you, Cheetah, in my opinion. You're coming into the middle of an expensive story with many players and calling it bad storytelling, or maybe to you as well, boss.
I'm about to say, I never.
I don't want to say it's bad storytelling.
Yeah, sorry, I apologize.
A basic story.
Calling it bad storytelling when you're not seeing the lead in the shows. I was very hit and miss with Rebels. I just felt like we're creating like a Luke Skywalker type character, and it felt very unoriginal and stuff like that. But I give it credit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, but this is why I disagree with you, fans. All right, let's take a story that. All right, John Wick, for example.
Just a little bit.
We're coming into that story mid-flow. Okay, we understand who these characters are. They don't need to stop and explain who these are for an episode or two. We understand they are. They just do what they do, and we understand the characters by the actions they take. And that's what the show should.
I 100% disagree with you, boss man, because the thing about John Wick is that John Wick in movies is the only media. With Star Wars, you've got several veins of media. So you have cartoons and you have movies and TV shows. So you're doing what Marvel has a problem with doing right now, is taking characters that are from a cartoon and moving them into a live TV show format where a lot of people, like the four of us here, have not really watched. John Wick is like, okay, if you go into the middle of John Wick 4 and you don't know some characters, that's your own fault because you didn't watch John Wick 1 through 3.
Fair enough. Okay, so in this episode, we did get some sort of Jedi training with some callbacks to the previous movie. Now, I know a lot of us were going, "Oh, there's a nice callback." When Sabine Wren was training with what's the name of the droid?
Three, four, five,
David Tennant, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, okay. With Doctor Who, and
yeah, that works.
Doctor Who,
and he got his forearms out, very General Grievous like, which was a nice little callback to that. I'm sure all of you guys were thinking that.
I did fangirl a little bit out of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I want to go General Kenobi. Sorry.
With the Jedi arts, but
Dixie, I can't hear what you say, mate. Sorry, you're a bit low.
Yeah, Dixie, you could maybe talk closer to your mic.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Not really.
Not really.
Well, Gaz can hear me, and he's the only one that matters. So in.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm joking, by
Okay.
the way, guys.
Okay, so but then we also got Sabine having to wear the helmet with the blast shield. And I really like this moment as well. Like it really felt like like a martial arts sort of training scene. You know, you could
Very
really
blind
feel
samurai.
yeah, very. You could really feel that samurai. You know, saying with the kendo sticks and stuff like that. It was it was really really cool how it was done. I love the music as well that they were playing to give the vibe. It was a really nice scene, and a lot of people are complaining with Rosario Dawson's acting that she's saying that she's being very unemotional, but in the day she's a fucking Jedi.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that at all. Actually, I think she's doing. As I said, with the actors, I don't even have a problem with the acting. Just not vested in this. And yeah, this episode in particular, as I said, they didn't do much. They really, really didn't do much.
No,
Period.
I thought Rosario Dawson's acting has actually been one of the strong points of this particular series, in my personal opinion, because she's kind of, you see vulnerability in her acting, and she's kind of like, you kind of tell that she's kind of like an older, wiser version of the character that she was in the film. Again, the film's the only one I've actually watched, and it was good. I mean, that's been a good aspect for me. I mean, Sabine Wray, I couldn't give two shits about. Sorry, the actress who plays her, but sorry.
You really don't like Sabine Wren? I like her a lot.
I
Dude.
find her annoying.
I really like Sabine Wren. She's I just like her. She seems really cool, and you know they're not Mary suing her at all, which a lot of people are worried about. When it comes to female characters in Star Wars, they're not Mary suing her whatsoever. You know, she's failing, you know, and she's having to learn and all of that. And I like the fact, you know, she has a relationship already with Ahsoka, and you can see their chemistry, so to speak. Couple that with the droid as well. I'm really liking that. You know, the comment mentioned regarding anger and all of that will help you in a fight, but it'll unbalance you. That was just fantastic. That was a really great way to describe the dark side of the Force. To a degree, it will make you a bit more powerful, but you will fuck up and maybe lose your legs and your limbs in the pits of Mustafar. That was a great description in my opinion. Yeah. Let's get to some comments here. So if you came into Lord of the Rings in the third movie and complained about not knowing who people are, that's on you. All right. No, turn it up for fuck's sake, apparently. Ginger's getting deaf. Dixie transmitting from the Galactic Empire. Yeah, I said that earlier. Transmitting from unknown regions. No, don't worry. I think you'll be fine. Ashoka was screwed by almost everyone she cared about. The distance is warranted.
I mean, that's what Jedis do when they get screwed over by everybody. They go into exile. It's just Ahsoka's not like going into like actual exile. She's just exiling herself from most of the people she knows and loves.
It's funny. I haven't watched the episode, but knowing the Disney structure, I know. I think it's a good episode. Ginger, it's the best episode of Ahsoka so far, in my opinion.
No, I mean there's aspects I like. Like I thought the fighting, the star fights were great.
Yeah. It's funny. I haven't also already read that. They sorry, this is the comment I wanted. They transferred the well from the series in that she was an annoying cut there. Like I said, I really like her.
In the early Clone Wars series, yeah, I would say. I mean, I've seen the first 2, maybe 3 seasons of Clone Wars, and yeah, I hated her. Like I know she gets better as the show goes on, but I really didn't like her in the first couple seasons.
Okay, so like we get this comment from us like after they finish their training and stuff, like the fucking the table comes out of the ground, and they have some little conversation. And this is the funny thing because, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to eat on a table that people have been walking all over. You know, as cool as it looks that it's just come out the ground and all of that sort of stuff, you're fucking everyone's feet have been on it, and that would bother me for a
Maybe they
minute.
have some
That'll
technology that auto cleans it as it comes up. It
Fair enough.
desanitizes it. I don't know. I mean, you're right. I
But-
mean, if everybody's walking on it, what if you walk in like, Bantha poop and then you walk on the ship? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're walking outside. They're not changing their shoes or anything. And then, anyway, regardless, she tells Sabine that the Force resides in all living creatures. It's just that some people have high metachlorian counts, which means that they can obviously call upon the Force a lot easier than others. But it does reside in everybody. So even Sabine Wren, even though she thinks she's not Force sensitive, she is. And then she does that thing where she tries to pull the cup. And I think we've all done that at some point in our lives where we try to use the Force to call for something.
there
it
are
hasn't
times
happened.
I try to choke you, Zam, with the Force. I'm like, "Ah, come on!" Like I'm trying to do what Darth Vader did in Empire Strikes Back and choke you through the screen.
Yeah, and the distance is a lot closer as well because sometimes Darth Vader's choking people over fucking galaxies and shit like that. But
Well, the thing is also with Darth Vader, he has to actually see the person he's choking.
yeah,
And
okay,
he
fair
saw
enough.
food from a hologram, so
He probably
Yeah,
choked some chicken that way too.
Yeah, you did. You did. So all right. So we also get to see the New Republic now. It was really good to see Mon Mothma back in this as well. She's like a connective glue so far. We've seen her in Rogue One. We've seen her in Andor. We've seen her in this now. It's pretty cool. Just it gives us all a reminder that that all these shows are connected in some capacity, which is nice. But boy, are the New Republic people fucking idiots.
Aren't they?
I think a
though?
lot, yeah, they really are. Like, there's this new factor like coming in, and I think maybe somebody mentioned this earlier regarding Mon Mothma, but that maybe she's kind of exhausted. I mean, she's just had to deal with the rebels and stuff like that. They finally got rid of the Empire, and she's probably hoping for better things. And then you hear about the Empire resurfacing again, and there's people working in shipyards and shit like that who are still aligned with the Empire.
I mean, you
like
don't-
Trump supporters.
Yeah, you don't just get rid of an insurgency, not even an insurgency. You don't get rid of a major galactic power like that overnight. Like just because they defeated, the Death Star and the Emperor and Darth Vader, like that stuff just. And I know this is like 5 years. What 5 or 6 years after Return of the Jedi, but it's just like still, it's like you don't just get rid of these like people, like something on a scale of the Galactic Empire. Zam's right. Like you're gonna have what would it be? Make Empire great again. So it would be mega people, like all over the galaxy. Still,
It's a universe here we're talking
Yeah.
about. They're not going to just disappear. Yeah, because you had a fucking massive fireworks display after destroying the third Death Star. Sorry, the second
Third.
Death Star. My apologies. Sorry.
There's a third one.
Yeah, so it's
Mike,
Starkiller
you
base,
never
I
know in
guess.
the
So
extended universe.
say that again.
I said you never know. It might be with the extended universe.
Well, I mean, the Starkiller base is arguably the third Death Star, isn't it? So
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Empire had a third Death Star like under construction. Like, they had I mean, because apparently they had this wasn't it the second one was under construction while the first one was under construction too?
Yep.
Like because the second one is so much bigger than the first one. Like the second one was supposed to be like actually the final
second one's
product.
bigger. Yeah,
The first one was actually going to be I think the first one was actually more like a prototype, like a complete prototype. So that's just theory. I don't know if there's any weight behind that. That's always
No,
what
but we've already seen, like for example, the Mandalorian. There's like pockets of Empire, like rule still in parts of the Empire, like parts of the universe. Like for example, Moff Gideon, flaming like the character flaming that what's his name? Werner Herzog plays, like all these like kind of old, vestiges of the Empire. So
Yeah. Anyways, I did like Hera in this scene because she basically took some of the New Republic members to task. Because there's one geezer said that he never fought in a war, and she basically said you just waited to see who would come out on top. Quality, absolutely destroyed him. But everyone else in New Republic just doesn't really give a damn. She's mentioned Grand Admiral Thrawn. Everyone else thinks that he's dead. She says that he's not dead and he's going to be coming back, and they don't give a fuck. I mean,
Yeah,
they are they knew how bad the Empire was. You can't be underestimating it. But yeah, it's just
no, and this is where Moth Mothma should have looked at all of them and said, "Fuck you guys! I'm sending at least like a squadron or something. You know what I mean? Like and maybe she will. Maybe later on in the season, like maybe in an episode or two, all of a sudden, like a Mon Calamari cruiser with some fighters is going to show up. Because Moth Mothma, didn't agree with them, but she didn't obviously get like the full force of the New Republic, but maybe she was able to call in a favor to an admiral and just say, "Hey, I need you to go to the Deneb system, and I need you to back up, this Jedi and this Mandalorian." But you never know.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, the one thing that I would have done differently if I was in charge is I wouldn't have shown Thrawn. I would have maybe even hinted he was alive, because then it's up to the viewer to decide if he is or not. Because then, because the thing is that I want it to be I don't know, like where you've got a big bad, but the thing is, it's only a certain character. I know that's a bit of a trope, but it might work for Star Wars here, because Thrawn is such a big, massive bad guy, like a Darth Vader or something like that, that he can be like a presence that people are kind of afraid of.
Unfortunately, in this capitalistic world, they wanted to make sure that people would watch this shit, which is why they announced Lance Mickelson, who played the Thrawn on the animated show, would be doing him live action, and they gave us little snippets so people would be dying to see finally a live action version of Thrawn. And yeah, that's unfortunately how it became. It would have been nice if it was a mystery or not, but at the same time, if we never even got to see him and it was all up in the air, I think that would piss off a lot of diehards. Let's get to some comments. Daniel Vaughn says, "I want to know where the animosity is between Shin Hati, also known as Shin Hati, and Magistrate Elsbeth coming from. They're clearly at odds and hate one another." Well, we're talking about Dark Jedi here who feel that they're above everyone and they hate the idea they're taking orders from a witch. Ginger Greek, well, she does definitely. Ginger Greek said it's like Afghanistan, USA rolled in, and they said they defeated them. And then over 20 years, the Taliban chipped away and returned.
Yeah, he's talking about when we were talking about the Empire is just not going to go away. And, in 5 years, and this is on a galactic scale, you're always going to have diehards like that, that just keep on linger in the shadows and then keep coming back. You know what I mean? I don't think the Empire is going to become the rebellion now. So just bad instead of good.
I agree. Daniel Vaughn says Zeb was with the fighter squadron in the Mandalorian. There's an easy group they could get to.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, even if it's just a couple fighters, Mon Mothma, I feel like that should have, if they were going to do that, I feel like that should have happened in this episode. I felt like the squadron should have shown up, and saved Ahsoka's ship, before they landed. You know what I mean? I felt like it should have happened. Then we could have said, "Hey, something happened this episode besides them landing on the freaking planet. At least other people showed up. Zeb showed up."
Fair enough. So with our main characters now getting close to that giant hyperdrive device which they're investigating, they are then ambushed by Shin Hati and Mystery Inquisitor. Who could he be? Dun 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 dun. Because this has been making the rounds on the internet, as you can see with the thumbnail.
It's Mephisto.
As you can see on the thumbnail
It's Apocalypse.
of this video.
So that happens out to a couple of series, a different series.
Of this particular chat, a lot of people have narrowed it down to Ezra Bridger and Starkiller, Galen Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games. It would be amazing if it was somebody else totally left field. Now, I personally, I've heard some of the rumors. I've heard some of the rumors of how it could be Ezra Bridger because of like time travel and the world between worlds and shit like that. Personally, I'm not buying that. I think that's a load of bollocks. You know, if he's in a distant galaxy with Thrawn, then he's in that galaxy with Thrawn. There's no way he could. If he was able to come back, then Thrawn would be able to come back.
No, because only a Force user.
Okay, yeah, but everyone has the Force in them. You know, remember that? What?
No, a Force user. Just because.
All right. Fair enough.
Does not mean that.
I still think that's bollocks. Yeah, I personally don't like that. So this is why.
And also, Daniel Vance has a good point. He says the Purgles returned. Easy enough for Ezra because Ezra can talk with the Purgles. So he can.
I was going to get to the fucking Purgles. Anyway, but fair enough. But then a lot of people are saying it's Starkiller. I'm also not feeling that too much, but it would be pretty cool if it was him.
All right, who do you think it is?
I don't know. That's the thing. And I'm going full on fucking agnostic on this, and I have no fucking idea. And I'm not going to pretend to know. I mean,
I don't care either. I don't. I mean, I'm hoping it's somebody out of left field. I'm thinking it's Ezra, but I mean, if I'm wrong and it's somebody completely different, then sure, whatever. You know, maybe it's Kane or whatever his name was, Kanan, whatever the.
Well, look. First of all, we have a guy called Lord Donkey. Yeah, I'm sure you know who this guy is. He said Ahsoka is great. Cheeto is grumpy.
Although
I think
his husband has hacked his account because that sounds more like Star Shrek talking more Donkey talking.
His husband should get on here then. The giant hyperdrive is Galactus' giant space cock ring.
This is true. It is.
It's too small. You know how big Galactus is. You know, you would have to have a fucking. You have the most microscopic dick for somebody of his size for that to be his cock ring. You know what I mean? If you think about it, Galactus is humongous.
Yeah, Galactus eats planets, like literally.
And it's got guns on it, so I mean,
Maybe likes it saucy. I don't know.
That's called protection, baby.
Return easy enough to. Yeah, fair enough. Forget that. And Ginger literally doesn't care. Yeah, I know, but you love it regardless.
No, he doesn't.
Why is Starkiller? Because Sam Winter's name was in the credits. Yeah, that's it. Sam Whitworth, whatever his name is. He voiced mini droids and stuff. Yeah, and he did the voice of Darth Maul in the animated series as well. So, all right. So we get our dogfights. We have red shirts, who get killed, obviously, but the main two who don't get killed, which is Hottie and Geezer, and the Geezer who looks like the Black Knight from fucking Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So, but if you look at his entire getup, he does look like an actual knight, like a future version of a knight. Yeah, so
he could be like one of the Knights of Red.
Medieval knight. Sorry.
It could be one of the Knights of Red.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. The Knights of Ren, somebody developed by J.J. Abrams and totally ignored by fucking dickhead Ryan sucks on Johnson's. Galactus stops me when I get there. I don't get the joke. It's too American for me.
He's saying like penis size. He says, Galactus, stop me when I get there, and he's like opening his hands to how big his penis is.
I don't like the joke. Don't do jokes. None shall pass. I don't know what's he on about.
Is it in the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? That's what he's doing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Of course, yeah, I'm sorry. Ugh, I should know better.
Zam likes his jokes, or Zam doesn't like our jokes, but he only allows his jokes to be funny on this show.
No, this is, but this, yeah. Please, yeah, but no one else can do it.
A guy who apparently loves R-rated more than anything else in life itself. He doesn't like penis jokes.
No, I just didn't get it. There's a difference.
Oh.
But and when I did get it,
if you say a joke, Zam has to get it. That you have to vet your joke.
Just because this joke's a penis joke doesn't mean that I would have to like it. It has to be good, and it wasn't good. It was American, which means bad. All right. Okay. Anyway, regardless. So we have a battle. The ship gets hit. They manage to repair it. We get a really cool scene with Ahsoka outside the ship, and she's deflecting blaster bolts and cutting up.
Stupid.
I liked it. I liked it.
Why? Okay, so why is like I could see if Ahsoka was like using the Force to fly around and block things, but like they are literally shooting the exact spot she's at. And she's blocking with the lightsaber. Like what? If she's over on this side of the ship, then shoot this side of the ship.
No, but she purposely went out there to be a target. Sorry, Dixie?
She's blocking ship lasers. That's not possible.
Yeah, it's possible with the lightsaber. It is, but at the same time, they're literally shooting at her when if they wanted to blow up the ship, they could shoot the opposite side of the ship. It's so stupid. It just that part really irked me about this episode.
Well, so yeah, because they could target blaster fire, but the targets can decide where the obviously very heavily armored lightsaber wielding flaming warrior is. I get you. I actually all this.
You know what? That ship is very heavily armored. I mean, it took a lot of blaster bolts before it took a lot of shots.
Well, it shouldn't have. It should have probably blown up at that point. But I mean,
look, they were able to, like when Sabine Wren was on the tail gun. You know, she was shooting. Got a few shots off them and killed them, whilst their ship's getting the shit shot at it, and it's surviving. But fair enough. Maybe he's got Jedi infused alloys in it. You know, it is a special Jedi ship.
It has shields, but the thing is like, yeah, like when they were there, like the ship was shut down, like the shields were off. So really, blaster bolts should have gone. Like, I mean, armor can only take so much.
Well, they managed to get all the information as well, by the way, from the giant cock ring, and that's when obviously David Tennant he gets malfunctioned and he fucks up, and so when they are flying into, once the ship gets ready again and Ahsoka gets rescued, and I like the fact that she needed to be rescued. She wasn't going to Mary Poppins herself, like this guy says, Leia Mary Poppins vibe. There wasn't that in this, and I'm very happy the fact that she had to be rescued in order to get back on the ship. She couldn't use the Force.
Yeah, but okay. So here's another plot hole. Here's the thing. The thing about Leia, the only thing that bugs me about that is that she was in the vacuum of space and she should have been dead. The fact that she pulled herself back with the Force did not bug me, because you should technically be able to use the Force to pull an object towards you or away from you. So that means that you could also pull yourself towards an object, whether it be in space or whether it be in an atmosphere, unless you need atmosphere to use the Force. But that's never been established, that you need atmosphere and air to use the Force. Now they say that the Force is in the air, in the trees, in all these other bullshit things, but they never say like you have to have that to use the Force. So the thing that Leia, like, you know, like if Ahsoka would have just pulled herself back to the ship with the Force, I'd have been fine with that. The fact of the matter is that she just stood there and these blaster bolts went right to her, even though there was a whole other ship there to fire at, and then she had to be rescued. It's like, no. Yeah. No, go ahead.
First of all, I'm going to avoid this penis comment from Ginger, but I'm going to go straight to this. Dixie sounds like the adults from the Peanuts films. I know what you're on about. Snoopy, yeah. Um, Ahsoka on the wing was the same reason I gave up on Visions, which had much the same scene. Did they have something like that? Was that season 1? I think it was. Yeah. So fair enough. But yep, they get the ship repaired, just a bit of splicing here and there. Bish bash bosh, Bob's your father's brother. We're ready to start flying again. And they go into this planet and they see the Purgle space whales. That must have been great. Come on, you guys were shooting your load over that.
I wouldn't.
Not really.
I don't care. I mean, I know of the space whales or star whales or whatever they're called, but no, I didn't. No, not really. Didn't care.
I felt like I was watching Avatar again.
Fair enough.
I was waiting for Kirk to show up in a bird of prey and try to abduct him and take him to the future.
I know, right?
Well, watching this episode twice, one thing I did know was that Inquisitor guy, he was really giving the space whales a good look. And that's why some people might think it is Bridger, because Bridger obviously was intertwined with the space whales to get him and thrown out of the galaxy. There is a possibility there with the Inquisitor being Bridger in that particular circumstance, But anyway, we have some more space battles. Them obviously flying around the whales, and eventually, with this place being so cloudy, they manage to escape the Dark Jedi Inquisitor, and they hide in some trees. Very lucky for them that these trees are red, just like their ship, so they're able to camouflage quite nicely. And they shut down their power and stuff, and then they just wait. And then finally we see Balin coming in, realize that they're taking refuge in the forest, and tells his boys to hunt them down. Episode ends. Not bad, huh?
No, like nothing happened.
Okay, well.
I mean, you can do traveling from to something to make it a compelling story. I just don't think this was a very compelling story, in my personal opinion. Doesn't mean it was. But I do think that the space battles were great, though.
The space battles was all right. I didn't have a problem with that, but.
Okay, Lord Donkey says at least Ahsoka had some fun action scenes. 7.5 out of 10 episode for me. You love your halves, don't you, Donkey? Donkey. I'm hoping we get more Duffer My Witch Lady. Yeah, me too.
I gotta agree
I'm sure
with him on that, or Lord Donkey on that one. I gotta agree. I wish we had more of the witch stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, but I'm gonna go on a slight tangent here, and I know we shouldn't have to do this, but after I watched this episode, the first thing that came out, and then whilst I was working on, I was watching reviews, and you know what? I'll leave this for Friday. Actually, let's not. It's more of a Friday debate, so I'll leave that for Friday. But nevertheless, some people had some interesting opinions on this particular episode, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time with it. So I'm going to mark it right now. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of the best, definitely the best Ahsoka episode out there for now. I thought it was paced well. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it's got me gagging for the next episode. I can kind of see what's going to happen from watching the trailers. I'm able to piece it and things together. So I think I don't want to spoil it for you guys if you haven't realized. So I think I know what's going to happen next week. Hopefully we will also get Thrawn as well next week. About bloody time if we do. You can't delay this guy any longer. If we don't get Thrawn until later, then the episodes need to be longer in order to accommodate for this new character who everybody wants to see in live action. All right, Gary, what are you going to give this episode?
I'll give it a 7 just because the fight scenes were great, but the story was lacking. I would have given it 8. I would have given it probably like a 9 if the story was a bit stronger, in my opinion. But yeah, 7.
Okay, before I get on to you two, a quick comment here that just had to be mentioned. While we're on Disney, She-Hulk is getting a season 2. Rejoice!
I know, I've mentioned that before. Ginger's looking forward to that. His favourite Disney series.
Look, the thing is, is can they rectify their mistakes? If they do that, then I'm all for season 2.
Me too,
You
actually.
know, yeah. If you can rectify your problems and listen to the criticisms, and you take maybe season 2 on a different path to season 1, then be my guest. Make a season 2. I mean, we're gonna fucking all watch it regardless. So yeah, just make things better. That's all. Anyway, we're gonna give this. I'm gonna go to you, Dixie. What are you gonna give this episode out
I'm
of
gonna
10?
give this one an 8. 8 out of 10. Reason being is because one, it was short. Two, it told a very concise story, which I liked, and yeah, it's well acted. I liked it.
Fair enough. Daniel Vance, give us your rating, please. And Cheeto, what are you gonna give this episode?
4.
What?
4.
Or
Explain yourself.
yes,
The
please.
episode was short. They didn't do nothing. They spent way too much time on stupid shit.
You got your pew pews,
The
but the pew
bullshit
pews.
face was like them like doing the lightsaber, like Ahsoka deflecting laser blasts on the ship. Like if the ship was smaller, maybe if it was like a fighter, maybe. This is a ship where she could not reach
If
places,
it was a
and they're
fighter,
shooting
all
right
I'd have to do is just,
at her. They didn't do anything this episode. Like they landed on a planet. They had a small dogfight and they landed on a planet. You cannot tell me that we did anything else. We saw Moff Mothma. That was cool. I like that. We saw a Mon Calamari cruiser and some A-wings, which, by the way, Dixie, do have hyperdrives. I'm glad you're
They
here for that.
shouldn't. They shouldn't.
They do. They always have.
No,
by the way,
hyperdrive ring. They didn't.
They did. They
I
had
forgot-
hyperdrives in Return of the Jedi.
Because they had the little hyperdrive rings.
No, they didn't. Those were Jedi fighters in like the prequels. Jesus Christ.
By the way, we also got to see Hera's son Jason, who's the son of Kane, the Jedi, as well, which was pretty nice. Did you guys mark out for that?
No, I didn't even know he had a son.
Nobody did that.
I mean, considering like the kid has got no Twi'lek things about him whatsoever, like the fact that his hair's green. I mean, Twi'leks come in various colors. You know, Kanan, yeah.
Good God Almighty,
Yeah.
it's Kanan.
You would have just thought that kid had dyed his hair or something like that. But nevertheless, yeah, that's the son of Kanan, and he probably falls sensitive and stuff like that. I would have given him some big giant tentacles, but maybe that kid's too small to have it, and he would have fallen on his ass if he had these big dangly things hanging in the back of his head.
I
mean,
man.
Yeah, possibly. But we are talking television budget, you know, maybe.
Well, no, he also didn't have tentacles on because I saw a picture of him on Rebels. So I mean, they could have just animated him with small tentacles, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So, but they didn't. So that's how he was originally in Rebels.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
It was a creative choice. It wasn't a budget choice, I think.
You know what? They lucked out, didn't they? Because they probably could have gone that way, not realize they're going to make a live action version of Ahsoka, and then realize, shit, we got to have a kid now with fucking tentacles on the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, they don't have to do that. They have to paint his head green. That's good enough. All right, fair enough. All right. Yeah, we're done here. So overall, majority of us gave it decent marks, except for Cheeto. How's the show going to improve for you, Cheetah?
Do something. Bring Thrawn in. You know, do what the show's been promising.
Do you think Thrawn? I'm a bit worried actually. I mean, I don't know if I like Lance Mikkelsen, but I'm not sure if he can pull off a good Thrawn. I'm very skeptical. I don't know what you guys think.
He does the voice for it, and he seems to be a dude.
Yeah, he does the voice of cartoons, but he's not that memorable. You know, in my opinion, I don't think he's that memorable on the animated show as Thrawn. Thrawn is more memorable in the books than he is in Rebels. Yeah. Thrawn is what the hell? How do you know this? Donkey.
He's probably saying that because of their trend, because it's true. I mean, in Mandalorian, when Moff Gideon comes in, he comes in the last 2 episodes, and that's it. I mean, it's a trend. You know, the only time they ever went away from that trend the only time they went away from that trend was is in 2 shows. Obi-Wan, because Darth Vader was throughout the whole thing, and mostly. I think he came in episode 3 or 4, I think, but that was a little bit more. And then Andor, because we saw all the villains throughout the whole series. You know, that's why Andor was so good, because we actually got character development for our villains.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens to Thrawn this season, they're not going to kill him either. I mean, even when he does come back, this guy is going to be the Thanos, apparently, of this period of Star Wars. So all the series that have been made during this particular timeline, like this, Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, all of that, they're all going to come together for one big massive circle jerk to take down Grand Admiral Thrawn. And who knows what other spin-off series they're capable of doing in the future as well.
But if it's formulaic, that's going to be really predictable, though. Like, because I mean, the thing is,
yeah.
what we like Star Wars for is the unpredictability. Is that they pull like stories out of the left field that we can't see coming? Like, you know, and the thing is that Thrawn is a good curveball. Sorry, just to use a baseball analogy, or good googly, or whatever term you want to use. He's a good thing that can throw Spanner into the works, and you're just going to do generic shit with him. It just seems like bad storytelling to me.
I also just want to point out that the poll agrees with me. The poll currently is sitting at 50%, at 50% 1 through 4, 25% 4 through 7, and then 25% 8 through 9. So the poll agrees with me currently, and I know Zam's going in there now to cast his vote.
I'm going to put my vote in there right now. There you go.
I did not cast a vote because I don't think we should be, voting on our own since we gave ours on here. But whatever. So, still, most of the people in the poll agree with me.
Yeah, Disney is by the. Yeah, Disney is literally by the numbers. Look. Disregarding Grand Admiral Thrawn, I really hope Lance Mikkelsen does a good job. For me personally, I would have gone with someone like Michael Fassbender. I know Benedict Cumberbatch would also be a good choice, but we said it earlier that he's in everything at this moment in time, and even though I think he would be the perfect Thrawn, I wouldn't want to see him in this because he's just in too many things. But a good alternative would have been Fassbender. I could easily see him playing that role as well.
Fassbender would be good, yeah.
Yeah, easily, yeah. So giving it to somebody who looks like a blue version of Elon Musk from some of the pictures I've seen, so we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm hoping so. I really I hope so. I mean, I know he does the voice of Rebels, but I just feel that people's enamor with Thrawn is more from the books than it is from the series, from the TV show.
It just depends on the writing.
I've read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and he is so fucking good in that.
He is.
Yeah, he is so fucking good in that. I mean,
actually, here's a question for you, Disney. Where is the Thrawn flaming? Was there to the Empire flaming adaptation? Do that. The Heir to the Empire flaming adaptation that they couldn't do.
They can't because I mean, like that. Basically, that the sequels have kind of blown the Heir to the Empire trilogy because the Heir to the Empire trilogy is the book version of the sequel trilogy. So I mean, you're not going to have.
Yeah, it's part of Legends, Boss Man.
So I mean, like you can have a version of it, but it with the way that they've done the Star Wars universe, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen the way that it happened in the books. Now, don't get me wrong. I really feel like they should try to do some kind of heir to the Empire type thing, but I mean,
this is it.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off with that. Sorry.
No problem.
I mean,
talk
to Kathleen Kennedy about it.
don't get me wrong, this is like the early stages of it. I mean, because back in the books, you had like a young Jason Solo, you had a young Jacinta Solo. They were twins. They were the son and daughter of Han and Leia. You know, like that's never going to happen now, ever. You know, it's impossible. You know, Han and Leia in this timeline have had one kid who was Ben Solo, and he's dead. The entire Skywalker lineage is dead. You know, there's
I'm
no,
actually new because
Who's-
apparently Luke and Mara Jade had a kid.
but Luke's not with unless we know something we don't.
I'm going by
Luke
the
and
book.
Mara Jade. No, but that's in the Legends book. And we're talking this timeline in by Disney. If they mention that Luke saw Mara Jade at some point between the Mandalorian and the end of Force Awakens, you know, prior like they end up having a kid or whatever. Fair enough. But right now, only Ray Palpatine, who's taking up the name of Skywalker, is continuing that lineage, even though she's not part of that lineage. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. Look, enough babbling and mumbling and bumbling. You know I've been really popular with Ginger Greek today. They can't do that as it's not their property, and they don't want to pay royalties to writers. Yeah.
Ginger has a very valid point.
Are they not paying royalties to people like Timothy Zahn regarding Grand Admiral Thrawn because he did create that guy? So regardless of them not following, yeah,
because he wasn't created by George Lucas, he was created by Timothy Zahn, so they must be paying him something.
yeah,
Or they bought him out.
yeah.
I mean, they could have just bought the character, like just that character, and then they left everything else.
And I'm sure, honestly, I'm really sure here and there are other alternative characters and things from the expanded universe that has been used drips and drabs here and there. I can't really tell. So anyway, we're done here. So we're going to be back on Friday with the world's gone insane with lots and lots to talk about, including actually some of the experiences I've had watching some of the reviews of this episode, as well as the life of a pick me, Notting Hill Carnival talk as well. I'm sure there's some other stuff to talk about too. I can't wait to talk about it this Friday here on the Tube, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. In the meantime, Gary, Cheeto, Dixie, anything you want to say before we shoot off?
I can't think of anything right off.
No,
Okay.
wonderful. Fantastic. Well, until then, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. Take care. Bye-bye.